This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. July is not only halfway through the year, but it's also halfway through the summer for gardening. That means your first half is growing and getting ready to produce. The second half is production, if you have any luck at all. And if the hail allows and the bugs allow, you can have a harvest. 1,000 years and then some, people have been drying their foods. Everything from catnip, I said catnip, for teas, medicines, as well as many other plants, taking the leaves and drying them down. It was a culture and literally life-saving products. Today, I also dry a lot of the foods and things like that. We have a commercial dryer, but that's for the foods. Some of the more experimental plants, I don't want them to give that bitter taste possibly to the other plants that I have in a food dryer. So I dry these alone. This happens to be a wild gourd. Some people call it a coyote gourd. Very efficient little plant, and one that the bugs don't eat on. And so I have done many tests with it as a bug repellent for your plants. It doesn't kill the bug, but it repels them. But I've also expanded a number of my experiments with this plant. Because I do experiments throughout the year though, I need to dry down this leaf. What I do is I just use the old truck here, big bay window up front of course, and I have a board. I lay him on the board, and then I take a good heavy sheet of plastic and lay on them so that they stay in their basic form. And within just a couple of days, things start drying down. When you first get them, first day or so, they'll still be floppy. That tells you there's moisture in there. But by the fourth day, I said the fourth day, you'll have nothing but a crispy critter, a potato chip in a leaf, if you will. It will be that dry, and that's what you want. That way you can store it, and yet the product and the needed nutrients that I will want for my different experiments are still in here. Now, what are some of the experiments? Well, I don't want to bore you too much, but I'll give an example of just one. We had a neighbor that had a horse, and the horse got sick, and the vet said it had cancer. And the kind of cancer that it was going to be dead in just a few weeks. Okay. Well, they offered to put the horse down, the vet did, but the owner said, no, just let him live and die in his own back pasture there. He said, that's the least I can do for him, and then I'll bury him out back there. He said it had been a good horse. Well, that veterinary showed up there again about 3 months later to work on another critter, and he glanced over and he said, you know, that horse looks almost like the one that died for you some time back. And he said, no, that's the same horse. The vet wouldn't believe it and went over and checked him, and he said, yeah, that is the same horse, isn't it? Yep. He said, okay, but he looks healthy. He checked him out, and the cancer he had was gone. It was gone. And he said, asked the old farmer, he said, well, what in God's name, you know, I wonder what cured it, or, you know, just miraculous cure, or what, why it turned around. And the farmer said, I have no idea, other than I noticed him going over in the canyon every day. He said he could barely walk, but he went over and down in that canyon. So he followed him one day, and he said he was down there eating gourd leaves. Gourd leaves. For whatever reason, or maybe no reason, and maybe nothing to do with it. But gourd leaves are in a very possible way of curing cancer. For an animal, if an animal, maybe a person. So anyway, the ranch I work at part-time, they have cattle that get cancer now and then. Can't sell them or nothing, so they just allow them to die and then bury them. This, I have been starting to take these to the cattle that have cancer and feed them gourd leaves. And if you think I just have a couple of small patches here, I have almost 24 large patches out in the country of wild gourd leaves, so I have as many as I want. But what I do is I will feed them and just test out the different things. Have I had anything super successful yet? No. But that doesn't mean the answer isn't there. This is some of the things I do outside the box thinking, because as I was told by a scientist that the only way cancer is going to be cured is somebody outside the medical community, because the medical community that's making billions of dollars off of cancer is not going to find a $1 cure on their own. It's McCook's Mr. Bill. I hope you consider drawing all sorts of plants and leaves for future use and scientific tests in your own way and in your own mindset. Rate this film.